Hey guys, I just want to give you a few quick thoughts on the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic episode that aired last Saturday, just because I have quite a lot to say about it. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll put a link down there for you, and you can go and watch it now. Uh, in fact, if you don't go and watch it now and you haven't seen it, you may as well stop watching now because there are going to be spoilers. Okay, so assuming you've seen it now, basically, I really liked the idea behind this episode in the sense that this actually focuses on sibling rivalry and sibling sort of love-hate relationship, which is actually not something you see very often in various television or even film. The only other thing I can think of off the top of my head that focuses on sibling rivalry is The Simpsons with Bart and Lisa. It's been a number of episodes that focus on their relationship, but other than that, I can't really think of anything that focuses on sibling relationship with one another too much. So that was a really interesting episode in that sense because it's something that I know a lot about myself because I've had a younger sister myself for as far back as I can remember, since I was 2. So it's an interesting kind of idea. It's someone you have to sort of get along with. You are basically forced to, but you just naturally do not because you don't really you will not naturally have anything in common with them other than your relationship. You may not necessarily like any of the same things whatsoever. Even if you're a similar age, you may not like the same kind of things. And these two aren't a similar age at all. There's quite a big age difference. They never establish how old any of these characters are supposed to be, but I think the main 6 ponies are supposed to be like in their 20s or something, like young adults or something, and the ones like Sweetie Belle and Apple Bloom, they're supposed to be like little kids or something, so there's quite a big age difference there. So there's a lot of interesting sort of rifts and differences between Rarity and Sweetie Belle for the first half of this episode, and the episode is fairly neutral about the way that they show this. No one's shown to be absolutely in the right, and no one is shown to be absolutely in the wrong. You can absolutely understand where both of them are coming from and why both of them sort of mean well, but you can understand why the other gets annoyed even though they mean well. And then, of course, you sort of realise when they break apart, you sort of realise that that was actually quite a valuable relationship and friendship to have, really, because when you really think about it, your siblings are really the closest people you are going to have ever in your life. Even if you develop a best friend, you are inevitably going to probably lose touch with them unless you really, really make an effort. Whereas siblings, you are just naturally sort of fixed onto them your entire life. The only other people where that's going to be the case probably are your parents, and that's not quite the same kind of relationship because they're obviously never going to be anything like the same age as you, whereas siblings kind of are. In this case, there's a little bit of an age difference of mine, but they're the same generation, so they are kind of the same age, and it is kind of understandable the way that Sweetie Belle observes a different sibling relationship and sort of asking why can't I have that, and then kind of goes down the wrong kind of road in sort of wanting Applejack to adopt another kind of interesting idea, and then obviously the twist they have at the end that they have that competition and it turns out to be Rarity. Could have made that a bit more subtle. If I have one complaint about this episode, it could have been a bit more subtle about concealing the fact that it was actually Rarity. I mean, it was so obvious to me. Her eyes were clearly blue, whereas Applejack's are green. She was covered from head to foot in mud. Rarity was covered from head to foot in mud. That's not something you expect to see. Was there any other possible reason she doesn't talk and you never see any of her features? It was kind of obvious to me what was going on there. They could have been a bit more subtle. Also kind of interesting that this is really the first episode that focuses on Sweetie Belle as an individual. We've seen her obviously as one of the Cutie Mark Crusaders, but this is the first episode which we sort of find out a bit more about her as an individual. I was hoping maybe this would be the first episode we saw her using magic or attempting to use magic, but it isn't, unfortunately. And also the first episode where Twilight does not appear. So kind of obvious that the writers aren't afraid to stray maybe from the sort of formula or the source material, if you like, of just having a main character. They obviously understand, these main 6 that they have, and even an extension of that a little bit. You can switch it around a little bit, and this quote-unquote main character that is Twilight doesn't even need to appear if she doesn't fit into the story. Although they did kind of shoehorn Spike in at the very end, that was kind of odd. But anyway, great episode. I think it probably is my favourite of this season, probably not my favourite overall. But certainly so far, probably my favourite season 2, so great episode, really interesting idea, and hope they maybe explore this a little bit more in later episodes. Okay, see ya.